Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur. As you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen goes live. You can follow me on Instagram at Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur. You can also follow the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur fan page and follow me on Twitter at DGoddess27. Okay, so let's get into this brief update. So a lot of people are criticizing Biden, even members from his own party. They're saying that he didn't impose the harshest sanctions, and some people are saying he didn't do it soon enough. Mitt Romney has come out of the woodwork. We haven't heard from him, in the past how many years? But Mitt Romney has come out, and he's been critical of President Biden, also saying that this is all to blame on the last three presidents, saying that Obama, Trump, and Biden are all at fault, and even blamed the current foreign policy. Now, he also made a comment clearly directed at Obama when he said that the 1980s called and we didn't answer. Now, the reason he said that was he was clearly being facetious because in October of 2012, during their third debate on the stage, Obama tried to go in on Romney because Romney was asked a question about who did he feel was America's biggest geopolitical threat. And, he said that he thought Russia was the biggest foe. Well, Obama laughed at that pretty much and criticized him, saying that, the 1980s called and they said they need their foreign policy back because the Cold War has been over for 20 years. He said a month or so ago, you were asked who was the biggest geopolitical threat, and you said Russia, not Al-Qaeda. So clearly Obama thought it was Al-Qaeda. But as you can see, Russia is clearly the one causing all this chaos at present. So I thought that was interesting. And also, Elise Stefanik came out, and she also has some critical things to say about Biden. But first, let's talk about Mitt Romney's post. Mitt Romney made a post recently that said, Putin's Ukraine invasion is the first time in 80 years that a great power has moved to conquer a sovereign nation. It is without justification, without provocation, and without honor, he says. Putin's impunity predictability follows our tepid response to his previous horrors in Georgia and Crimea, our native efforts at a one-sided reset, and as well as the short-sightedness of America first. Now, he also talked about the foreign policy and criticized that as well, the current one, and said the peril of again looking away from Putin's tyranny falls not just on the people of the nations he has violated, it falls on America as well. And meanwhile, in Kyiv, there's bombs and explosions consistently happening, right? And so, with that all being said, I just thought it was all interesting that Romney just came up out of the woodwork. But I can say this about Romney. He did say in 2012 that Russia was the problem and nobody wanted to listen. I mean, clearly the Democrats and the Republicans went in on him. They went in on him from the left and the right. Nobody was trying to hear it. So apparently he knew a little bit about what he was talking about. Now, and Lindsey Graham also, Senator Lindsey Graham also was critical of Biden, saying that if they're not doing everything possible, then they're not doing enough. And he talked about how, these sanctions have to be the harshest possible that they have. And basically what they want to do is exclude Putin from the global economy, just like wipe him out of that so he can't deal with certain banks and can't deal with any other currency, such as the US, the euros, and all of that. So they're really trying to get all of this done. But some say that Biden actually waited too long. He should have already done this. And so that's why they're displeased. And of course, Trump had his 2 cents to say, right? In fact, they said Trump was armchair quarterbacking. That's what they said. So now, meanwhile, Elise Stefanik is the third ranking Republican in the House for one main reason, and that is her undying loyalty to Trump. All right. Now, while many of her GOP colleagues were heavily ridiculing Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday for his invasion of Ukraine, Stefanik took a different track, focusing her criticisms on President Biden himself and laying Russian aggression at his feet, basically saying this is all his fault. The reason they're so aggressive is because Biden is slacking, clearly not doing what he's supposed to do as commander-in-chief. Now, this is the statement that she said, that she put out. After just 1 year of a weak, feckless, and unfit president of the United States and commander-in-chief, the world is less safe. Rather than peace through strength, we are witnessing Joe Biden's foreign policy of war through weakness. For the past year, our adversaries around the world have been assessing and measuring Joe Biden's leadership on the world stage, and he has failed on every metric. From kinetic and deadly attacks on our allies and partners, to the catastrophic withdrawal and surrender in Afghanistan, to the cyber attacks impeding American industry and infrastructure, to today's Russian invasion of Ukraine, Joe Biden and his administration have failed America and the world. Now, while Stefanik went on to call Putin a war criminal and a deranged thug, the bulk of her statement was directed at Biden as she continued to excoriate him. So they say a decade ago, the notion of calling the president of the United States unfit in the wake of the most serious invasion in Europe since World War II, that would have been unthinkable by either party. But they say, basically, this is Trump's fault, they say. Trump's 4 years in office have changed all calculations of how politics can and should be conducted, even in a moment of war. Trump himself went on Fox late Wednesday night to offer up his own armchair quarterbacking, they say, and blame a signing of the situation, and no less, saying that, well, this is something that should never have happened. This would not have happened during my administration. It wouldn't have taken place, and it wouldn't have taken place right now. Now, when told that Biden was monitoring the situation at the White House, Trump said, I don't think he's monitoring. I think he's sleeping. This is a terrible thing that never should have happened. Now, what Trump did and continues to do, they say, to the Republican Party is defining downward the idea of acceptable rhetoric. Stefanik has made political hay out of her willingness to support Trump at every turn. She was devastated in the House GOP leadership after she was elevated in the House GOP leadership after Wyoming Representative Liz Cheney was removed from her post as conference chair for criticizing Trump's actions during the January the 6th, 2021 insurrection at the Capitol. Now, Stefanik releases a statement that like this because she knows that the MAGA wing of the Republican Party, and Trump himself even and his supporters, she knows they're going to eat it up. And absolutely they are. They love to hear someone criticize Biden, right? And they love for Biden to be called weak and to say that Trump, or to be able to say that Trump would have been better suited for this condition or situation that we're currently involved in. And they say she appears either unaware or unconcerned about what sort of message it sends to the country and to the world when you call the president of the United States unfit during a time of war. Well, clearly she doesn't care. But I'm sorry, no lies were detected from what she said, as far as I'm concerned. But I'll tell you another thing, what I find interesting. You see, Putin is playing this game like a game of chess, while Biden is playing it like a game of checkers, okay? Pay attention. Putin has taken them clearly by the element of surprise by telling them one thing and doing another. For example, he said he was going to pull his troops out of Belarus, but he didn't do that, right? He said he wasn't going to invade Ukraine, but he did. And then now he's supposed to be going to Donbass, right? And so he's told them that it's a special operation, not a war, but that's clearly what it is. It's a whole war, but he's calling it a special operation. So pay attention. Putin is using one of the best strategies possible, and that is the element of surprise. So remember, when I reported to you earlier, they said that the people of Ukraine, they were caught so completely off guard, okay, when they started attacking at all angles. And of course, and now they have taken over Chernobyl, the nuclear power plant, and so they don't know what to expect next. Biden sits there and talks tough about imposing all these sanctions. At the end of the day, I don't even think Biden knows what he's talking about, okay? I really don't. And you know, at the end of the day, what do they expect people around the world to think, other world leaders to think, when they look at Biden, Sleepy Joe Jim Crow himself, and he's sitting there falling asleep at meetings? He's sitting there not knowing what country he's talking about and when, and just all of the fumbles and stumbles that he has made, and that a whole debacle with Afghanistan How that all ended? Yeah, clearly. We're the laughing stock. And so I think that Putin sees him as weak, and he's going to continue to do what he's doing. And I don't think he's even bothered by this talk of these sanctions, of which Biden seems to say he's going to impose. All right. I don't think he's bothered by that at all. But anyway, with that all being said, please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen goes live.